All right, let's play a little game. Just for a second, imagine you're running a business. Okay, so the year is 2026, and you've got a mandate to grow. I mean, serious, aggressive growth. You've got a nice budget to play with, so here's the big question. Where do you put that money?
Well, the traditional answer, or at least the gut instinct for most of us, right? It's marketing. You buy some ads, get more eyeballs, you fill up the top of the funnel, and boom, you acquire new customers. That's the standard playbook. Acquisition, acquisition, acquisition. It's kind of like a drug most companies are just hooked on. But, and this is a big but, this is where it gets really, really interesting.
See, a whole stack of research. We're talking articles, case studies, trend reports. It all suggests that this instinct isn't just a little bit off. It might be what we're calling the acquisition trap. It's this idea that the biggest mistake companies are making right now is obsessing over getting someone new in the door, while completely neglecting the people who are already there. It's like they're chasing strangers down the street while their best customers are just quietly walking out the back door. And escaping that trap is absolutely critical, because the stakes here, they're massive. This isn't just about being nice to people or trying to get a 5-star review. Nope. This is about the bottom line. So let's just look at the numbers for a second. Brands that are truly customer-centric, they report profits that are a whopping 60% higher than those that don't really focus on customer experience. 60%. And wait, it gets even better. Companies that make customer experience a priority also see an 80% jump in revenue. So you see, this isn't that fluffy service with a smile stuff. This is a ruthless, honest-to-goodness competitive advantage. In fact, Gartner predicts that 80% of organizations expect to compete solely on customer experience. Think about that. So the really crucial point here is, if your product is good, but your service is just average, you're going to lose. The final battlefield isn't features anymore. It's how you treat the customers you've already got. Okay, so what does this all look like in practice? Let's get real. Well, the first big goal is all about reducing your average response times. And this goes way deeper than just, be fast. That sounds obvious, right? We really need to dig into the psychology of why speed is so incredibly critical today. Well, for starters, the whole definition of fast has completely shifted. It's all about that immediate expectation. The data shows that a staggering 77% of customers expect to interact with someone immediately. And then there's this really specific benchmark that kept popping up in the research, the 3-hour rule. Get this, 67% of customers expect a full-on resolution, not just a "we got your email" reply, but a solution within 3 hours. Now, what's really fascinating here is the why behind all this. It's not just about logistics. Speed, it signals respect. When a brand responds fast, it's basically shouting, "Hey, we're competent, we've got our act together." But a slow response, that just erodes trust. It signals risk. It makes you, the customer, wonder, are you guys even a real business? And a perfect case study illustrates this point brilliantly. It's about a company called Muve, a property firm in the UK. Now, they deal with super high-stress situations. We're talking people buying houses. Their director realized that slow email responses were literally causing their clients to panic. So what they do? You can't just tell your team to type faster, right? They implemented a tracking software called timetoreply. This let them automate data capture and really track their email service level agreements. And the result? A total transformation of their customer experience. They turned what was a huge source of anxiety into a genuine competitive advantage. And what they proved is that in these high-stakes industries, speed isn't just about efficiency. Speed is actually a form of empathy. But look, speed isn't everything, is it? We've all gotten that useless, instant auto-reply that doesn't help at all. And that brings us to the second huge goal for 2026, increasing your first contact resolution, or FCR. Think of this as the counterbalance to pure speed. FCR is such a critical metric, it just asks one simple question. Did we solve the problem on the very first try? Okay, but that raises a massive question, doesn't it? How on earth do you deliver that kind of instant, one-and-done service when you're dealing with hundreds or thousands of customers? Well, the answer really lies in smarter support systems and finding that perfect balance with technology. So we're talking about smart automation. Using chatbots for all the routine stuff like reset my password or, hey, where's my order? That frees up your human agents for the really complex, tricky stuff. And then there's shared inboxes, which are absolutely essential for multi-channel support. They stop things from falling through the cracks and create one single source of truth for every customer's journey. And finally, self-service. Let's be honest. If I can find an answer myself in your knowledge base in 30 seconds at 11 p.m., I'm probably going to be happier than waiting 3 hours for even the most brilliant email reply. Okay, so we've got speed, resolution, and self-service. That's great. But what about the human element? Because frankly, I don't want to feel like I'm just interacting with some super efficient algorithm. And it turns out, neither do 81% of other customers. That's the stat. 81% of us prefer brands that offer personalized experiences. But we really need to define personalized, right? Because just sticking my first name in an email, that doesn't count. That's totally superficial. True personalization in 2026, it means context. It means when I call you, you already know my purchase history, you know about my recent returns, and you have some idea of my preferences. It's all about anticipating my needs before I even have to state them. So how do we tie all of this together? Well, this source material gives us two really simple but powerful frameworks to think about. First up, you've got the 3 C's of satisfaction. It all starts with consistency, which is just vital for building trust. It means your customers get the same amazing service on a Friday afternoon as they do on a Tuesday morning, and it doesn't matter which channel they use. And then we have the 3 P's of service: professionalism, patience, and people first. And that last one, people first, that's the real magic. It means prioritizing the customer's needs over some rigid internal policy. It's about empowering your support agent to actually be a human being and, override the system to fix a problem for a loyal customer. When that happens, wow, that is so powerful. Okay, so we're being fast, we're being personal, we're being consistent. Awesome. But how do we actually know if any of it's working? You can't improve what you don't measure, right? So this is where we've got to talk about the metrics. And the big one, of course, is NPS, the Net Promoter Score. You know the question. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us? But here's where so many people get it wrong. A 7 or an 8, that is not a passing grade. Those people are called passives, and they could leave you at any time. The detractors are anyone who scores you from a 0 all the way up to a 6. Yeah, a 6 is a detractor. And just think about it in real life. If a restaurant is a 6 out of 10, you're not recommending it to your friends. In fact, you might even actively tell them not to go. You're detracting from its growth. But look, a score is just a number. It doesn't tell you what to fix. That's why you need the qualitative data, the why behind the number. So what's a much better question to ask? Try this. What is one thing we could do to improve your experience? That little word "one" is so important. It forces the customer to prioritize their biggest pain point for you. And suddenly, you stop guessing what's wrong. And all of this really brings us to the main takeaway. The big headline for 2026 is this: retention is the new growth. It's time to stop obsessing over the top of the funnel and just fix the leaky bucket. It's all about keeping the people you already have happy through speed, through accuracy, and through a real, genuine human connection. Do that, and the money? It follows the happiness. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought. We started by talking about the acquisition trap. So what if you stopped spending money on acquiring new customers tomorrow? I mean, literally turned off all the ads. And you took 100% of that budget and put it into incredible service for your current clients. Would your business actually grow faster? All the data we looked at today suggests it just might. And that is a scary, but also a very, very exciting thought.